Okay, folks, this is an emergency broadcast on what is about to happen to Bitcoin. Have a look at this, right? So far, we've been spot on Bitcoin. I'm like the only one who's been calling this, right? Remember when Bitcoin was down like, in the 50s or the 60s? Remember Pablo, hey man, was the only one telling you guys that it's headed to 94K area. And this was one of the texts saying, the 85K area is the target for the head and shoulders, right? We have something, I believe something very urgent is happening, and you need to be aware of this. Something big is happening, not just to Bitcoin, also to Ethereum and also the NASDAQ market. Here was October 18th, for example, saying Bitcoin to hit low 90s area, right? New all-time high. I'll explain what the head and shoulders pattern I was referring to, right? Multiple tweets like this. And also even back in September. So this is me saying in September, saying again, low 90s, eventually low 90s. Next few weeks, right, Bitcoin could see a new all-time high. You can see this from September 19th. Okay, so here we go. Where are we now, and how did I come up with this 94K forecast, which right now seems to be exactly bang on for the Bitcoin price. Here we go. So this is a chart of Bitcoin, for example. And first I'll explain the basics of how I came up with this forecast month in advance. That's because we're looking at a weekly chart, and this right here starts all the way from 2021. Bitcoin has been in this massive channel, right? This massive channel. I've highlighted the area in yellow. So look at this pivot high, pivot high, pivot high, pivot high, right? And here, pivot low, pivot low, pivot low, and here, pivot low, right? Oh, wait, sorry, pivot low here. So you basically, this is a well-established channel. So that's why I didn't think Bitcoin was gonna break this right away. So that's why I thought this area here, look at this, right bang on 93.5 was gonna be the resistance. And turns out that's exactly what happened, right, with Bitcoin. That turned out to be exactly the resistance point. Here we go, right? Like, that's about as exact as you're gonna get. And the problem with this is, oh, and here is the head and shoulders I was talking about, which gave us the 84.85 target. So if you're in my Discord, you should know this as well. Here was the shoulder, head, you can call this a double header, shoulder pattern, and here's the neckline, which gave us, once it broke out, gave us a target of about 85K here, right? But then I said the final target, right, for this local top, not the eventual top, local top, should be in this 93, 94 area, low 90s I called it, right? In my Discord I call it 93, 94 area, and it's pretty much exact bang on. So that explains the target for 85, and now we've also hit the second target for me, which is low 90s, 93, 94 area. But why are we in danger here? Let's have a look. For example, we go to the 4-hour chart, the 2-hour chart. Anyways, the lower time frames, we're again playing out a head and shoulders pattern, which is shoulder, head, and shoulder here. This could be a shoulder, and you could have one more bounce here, and then snap, it breaks through. The neckline, once again, is here, right? Around this 87.5K area. If we get a close below, say, 87.8, 87.7 area, like a daily close, especially 2 daily closes below, then there's a very good chance we go down and retest the next level of support, which I think is at roughly around 50% retrace. Sorry, 0.618 retrace. We see a bunch of support here. So something like 77.9 to 80K. So let's call it 79 to 80K area. 78, 79, 80K area, right? Just below 80, the high 70s, if we get this break. And I'm afraid it is probably coming. Now, the other alternative, the very bullish scenario is if we don't get breakdown on this head and shoulders, right? So then we would have one more pivot up, and that would go, in my opinion, then once again, you've got this massive resistance at this 100K area, massive psychological resistance, hit there, and then comes back into the channel again. Very few times coins can successfully escape the channel they're in. So basically, what would happen is we would see Bitcoin like we see here, do a little pop above, and then come back down. So we could have a little pop above to 199, and people are celebrating, and it only lasts like 2 or 3 days, and boom, we're back into the channel, and then some sort of bounce like this. Could be even as low as mid 70s or even low 70s in a really nasty case, and then we bounce up. So overall, my thinking here is that this mid to low 90s area is going to be really tough for Bitcoin to get through. Eventually it will get through, I think, but we'll probably spend a few weeks here, even a few months is possible with a pullback. So basically we're seeing either we go down from here, we break this head and shoulders from here, or and test that 78 to 80k area now, or we bounce here, go to 98, 99, and then come back into the rising channel, which is back in the 80k, back into the 80s area again. So now you know how I came up with this big, call ahead of time, 2 or 3 months. People in my Discord saw me kept on saying 94k, 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 and they couldn't believe it when it was in the 60k area, and that's how it got hit. Now you know how Pablo works his magic, and now you know that's a big resistance to watch for a pullback as well. The probability of Bitcoin just blowing right through 100k, 105k, and going through without any stopping, that's always possible, but I would say that's a small probability. If we're traders, we trade the probabilities. And also, again, on Ethereum as well, not looking good at all. Not just because the price is down, but also because right now it's kind of like Sunday, right, in the United States, and we are about to do this. You can see right now on the weekly a topping tail, or a topping hammer, some might call it, because it's got this long tail here. Wicks up to 3,450, and then coming back. And by the way, folks, for Ethereum, I'm sure a lot of you are aware that I was the one who called when it was around 2,600, I said there's a big squeeze going on. Ethereum is going to 3,000 as first target, and then 3,200 as my second target. And if you're on my Discord, I said 3,300, and then we come down. Well, because the market is so bullish right now with Bitcoin doing such a big run. So Ethereum also ran even further, 3,450, right? And now it's coming back. That's not looking good because that's a topping tail. Chances are we're going to get more bounces to 2980, maybe even wick below, somewhere low 2900s, and then hopefully it stabilizes around here, right? Between 2,980 to 3,200. Hopefully it can form some sort of bull flag here and then go up again, which is what I'm hoping for Bitcoin as well. So then that means we get continued momentum on both Bitcoin and Ethereum, and the market continues to rally. We've had a big rally. Think about it. This is from 20... ETH just added 1,000 points, basically from 2380 to 2450, like 1,000, more than 1,000 points in like 6 or 7 days. So that's a pretty big move. And also on QQQ as well. Now check this out. QQQ basically is also, QQQ is the NASDAQ ETF. So I'm talking about the NASDAQ right now, also hitting a major resistance level. Why is this a major resistance level? Well, once again, what did we just learn? We've learned about channels. So basically, the NASDAQ is in this massive rising channel. I've drawn in yellow, and we can see that right now, this channel started in 2020. So it's been more than 4 years now, right? And we can see that it takes a number of pivot highs and pivot lows to form this channel, right? So we can see the pivot low here, pivot low here, pivot low here, and pivot high here. So it's been again, it's a well-established channel. It's been tested a number of times. When it hits, right, it bounces off to the other side of the channel. When it hits, bounces off to the other side of the channel. When it hits here, back in July this year, boom, went down. That was actually the Japanese yen carry trade crash of August the 5th. And now we've hit it once again. Not saying, once again, like Bitcoin, I'm not saying that the NASDAQ, the QQQ, cannot just keep going. Those are smaller probabilities and probably pretty rare. They can wick above and then usually they come back down. The worst case scenario would be if the NASDAQ came down all the way to around here, right, and bounced off the bottom of this rising channel. That would be around the 350, 340s area. Hopefully, for the bull market to continue, first level of support is for it to hit this red line here, which is around the 460, 450 area, right, on the QQQ. You can work out what the equivalent of that to the NASDAQ index is if you're looking only at the NASDAQ. I'll show you. See that red line I was talking about, where we're coming back to 460, 450 area for support. This red line has supported the NASDAQ for the last 20 months, since the start of 2023, right, on this rally. So this is basically what has supported the NASDAQ for this entire rally. We really, really do not want to see, right, this red line, trend line being broken. Okay, so and also if we look at the signal today, which is about what stage the market is in right now, and I am seeing a lot of indicators showing that Bitcoin, the crypto market, is in extreme greed, territory. So you know how you usually have your extreme fear and your extreme greed. Well, now we're in extreme greed territory. So that's always, once again, another bad sign. It's not good. Looking at all these signs that are building up, it's I would say in the next week, right, a pullback on the NASDAQ, on Bitcoin, and on ETH is more likely. The probability of all the three of them breaking up, just ignoring that rising channel, and just going straight up, it's possible, but it's always a small probability. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, yeah, I would say be careful, folks. Just watch out. And overall, I don't think the bull market is finished yet. There are a number of indicators I'm looking at on the economy, on when the recession could possibly be starting. That we're getting closer and closer to a recession right now. So I am personally quite worried. A lot of people say this is going to be a bull run to 180K, 200K Bitcoin. I personally think that's possible if we don't get a recession, or if we don't get a banking crisis, or if we don't get some sort of collapse in the stock market due to the Japanese yen carry trade blowing up again. Any one of these factors can blow up and cause the crypto market to pull back, to go down. So I think, in summary, I think this bull run in crypto, in Bitcoin, is going to get cut short by the recession or the Japanese yen trade, any one of those. So I'm going to be watching out for that risk very carefully. Now, if you want to know when those signals are triggering, then follow my signals. Follow me on whether it's YouTube or in my Discord. And by the way, this video you're seeing it right now would be 1 day old because I put it into my Discord first and then I put it out publicly. So you're seeing it 1 day after my Discord. Yeah. So overall, I think we are in a bull market about to start for altcoins market, if it hasn't already started for altcoins. Strong narratives will make a big run this time. However, as always, this is different from the 2020, 2021 bull run, because this time we've got a number of threats such as recession, US banking crisis, the US dollar to Japanese yen, carry trade that crashed the market on August the 5th. That could happen again. This time is different than the 2020, 2021 bull run. If we don't get cut short, it'll be a magnificent long bull run. But my fear is one of these things will cut this bull run short. And I'm watching out for the signals. I'll do another video on why I think these three things are a major threat to this market right now. And I'll update you guys when that time comes. Until then, best of trading.